is going on, guys? It's your boy Dylan the Villain coming back at you with some more Total Extreme Wrestling. We are playing in the year 1997 as the World Wrestling Federation. It is time for some Shotgun Saturday Night. Between Monday and Saturday, some big things happened. One of the previous episodes, one of the viewers commented that one of the companies were going out of business, and I couldn't remember which one exactly it was. And as I was looking through everything, and I noticed that more than one company was going out of business. So we did what typical WWF would do, and we bought all the companies that were going out of business. We have some big news here tonight, but I'm not going to spoil anything. And hopefully the thumbnail doesn't give too much away. But we have some big news here tonight. And yeah, so we're just going to go ahead and start the show because I don't want to give too much away. We're going to get to it when we get to it. In an abysmal pre-show match, the Hollies defeat the Headbangers in 13:25 when Crash Holly pinned Mosh with an Irish Karana. We are in front of 18,000 strong here at the Core States Spectorium, which is in Philadelphia, I believe. Mosh and Thrasher have the tag team specialist bonus. Now, commentary gave the match a boost. Match got a 55. Awesome pre-show tag team matchup. Bob Holly head and shoulders above everybody else with that 63. Bob Holly is pretty good talent here. And wow. In a pre-show matchup that had superb wrestling and non-existent crowd heat, Lance Storm defeats Al Snow by submission with a single leg crab, the Canadian Maple Leaf. The match got a 61, not bad at all. Al Snow with almost a 60, 59, and Lance Storm slowly and surely getting that pop with a 57. Now, so the color commentary gave the match a boost. We are going to move on to the next segment, which is our opening segment, and which is our big news of the night. Here we go. We see Vince McMahon in the ring, and we are in front of a good, strong Philadelphia crowd here. And Vince McMahon comes out and he goes, as you know, for those of y'all who read the wrestling news and the wrestling websites, there is rumors going around that Vince McMahon, has purchased one of my rivals. And I wouldn't even consider them a rival. I would consider them a close friend. We had a real good working relationship to where I send them talent and they send me talent, and you know, we help each other out pretty much. And I get a phone call from one Paul Heyman talking about how my rival WCW is looking to purchase ECW because ECW fell on hard times. And I told Paul that I would purchase his company for an unclosed amount, and I am now the sole owner of Extreme Championship Wrestling. But I don't want to be the man to put hardworking men and women out on the streets and without jobs. So Vince McMahon, has turned Extreme Championship Wrestling into our home, one of our developmental territories. You will now be seeing Extreme Championship Wrestling on WWE style television moving forward. ECW will now have a TV deal. ECW, blah, 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 blah. We're making ECW our developmental, along with our other developmental company that we already have, NXT. And the crowd goes wild, ECW, ECW. And he's like, without further ado, I would like to introduce the booker who will be booking ECW moving forward as our developmental company, Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman comes out, and the crowd chants him, and he goes, I know a lot of y'all are upset that World Wrestling Federation purchased ECW, but I would rather have WWF than WCW purchase ECW, because I know that Vince McMahon is going to give the ECW wrestlers an opportunity to prove themselves, an opportunity to show that they not only belong here in the World Wrestling Federation on the main roster, but deserve to be considered some of the best wrestlers in the world. And I'm very honored that Vince McMahon has brought me here tonight to showcase some of the ECW talent that will be showcased on ECW television here tonight. And I am honored that ECW will continue to live on under the World Wrestling Federation banner. So we got a 96. Vince McMahon did an awesome job. Jeff, the hardcore storyline advances. Announcing the color commentary gave the match a boost. Jerry the King Lawler is on commentary, and he goes, oh my gosh, I can't believe Vince McMahon purchased extremely crappy wrestling. I can't believe this. Like, what a dark day in the WWF. You know, Vince should have purchased the company, purchased all the rights, and then kicked them out to where they're working on the streets. It'll be no different than working in a bingo hall and blah, 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 blah. He buries ECW. Typical Jerry the King Lawler. We move on to our next segment, which is our opening contest, as we see the Eliminators taking on the Godwins. And the Eliminators, which we already had Perry Saturn and John Cronus signed to a developmental deal in NXT. They beat the Godwins. Perry Saturn debuted his badass gimmick. He got great. Perry Saturn and John Cronus have great chemistry teaming together. They also have the tag team specialists, along with the Godwins. Announcing color commentary gave the match a boost. The crowd was turned off by a match that should have been on the pre-show, which I agree. They both did pretty good. John Cronus with a 48 and Perry Saturn with a 55. Not bad. The match got a 42. We are going to move on to the next segment, as we have a sit-down interview with one Shawn Michaels, as he is at his home in Texas. Jim Ross introduces us to this pre-recorded thing. This was recorded on Monday Night Raw, and it's now being played here on Shotgun Saturday Night. And we see Jim Ross, and he's sitting there, and he goes, Shawn, thank you for inviting me in your home. What a lovely home. Thank you for treating me like as family, pretty much. And Shawn's like, oh, no problem, Jim. You know, like, mi casa, you casa, you know. And Jim's just like, well, I'm going to get straight to the point. Last Sunday at One Night Only in England, you were viciously attacked, along with Triple H, by Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. What is your thoughts? We heard him speak. You're obviously you're not here at Monday Night Raw tonight due to the attacks. Do you have any comments or anything, or do you know why? And Shawn's just like, well, I really don't know why. Even after they left the World Wrestling Federation and went to WCW, I tried to keep in contact with Kev and Scott. And to my knowledge, I thought we were pretty good friends. You know, I thought we were still on good terms and still on good friends. And they understand that, you know, my loyalty is here with the World Wrestling Federation, and they could try to convince me all the time to come to WCW, that I would be a big star, and you know, and I would make a lot of money. But sometimes it's not all about the money. It's about loyalty to a brand and to Vince, who helped me and gave me a career. Without Vince, I wouldn't be nothing. And I try to tell them that all the time, but you know, they don't want to listen to me. And he's like, Jim Ross is like, do you know why they might have want to attack you or why they're here? And Sean's just like, I don't know if Vince signed him to a deal. I don't know if Vince signed him. I don't know what kind of deal they have. The last time I talked to Kev was about 3 months ago, before I went away for a while. So it's been a while. Probably since around Royal Rumble, the beginning of this year. And he's like, that's the last time I talked to Kev about everything. And to my knowledge, everything was good. He was real confused on why Undertaker was attacking Vince and everything like that, and everything that was going on. And he really couldn't make sense of it. And you know, and he was wondering why everything was going on the way that it was. But I really don't know why they're here, and I don't know why they attacked me. Maybe they'll be there at Monday Night Raw, and maybe we'll have some answers. But I will be at Monday Night Raw. Raw is War next week, and I will want some answers myself. Maybe I'm going to watch Raw is War, and maybe I'll find out those answers tonight. But I will be there next week, and I'll be looking for some answers from Vince, or I'll be calling out Nash and Hall myself. And Jim Ross was like, well, thank you for our time, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for inviting me in your home. Thank you for the time. And, you know, back to some more wrestling content, right? Segment got a 100. We move on to the next segment. It's pretty much Shawn Michaels being like, I don't know why they attacked me. You know, I don't know what their agenda is. I don't know what it was. I thought we were friends, but I guess we're not. But there's going to be hell to pay, pretty much. We're going to move on to the next segment, which is The Godfather taking on Dave Finlay, in a terrible match. Dave Finlay defeats The Godfather in 7:53 by pinfall. Dave Finlay with a 57, not bad. And Godfather with a 54. Now some color commentary. They match boost, and this segment got almost a 60. Almost a 60. We are going to move on to our next segment. And it is Jim Cornette, and he comes out to the ring with one Rob Van Dam. And he's in the ring, and he goes, look, for weeks now, I know that Chris Candido, that pot smoker Chris Candido, unlike my client Rob Van Dam, who is straight as an arrow and don't do drugs at all, but that pot smoker Chris Candido is down there, and he keeps attacking my client Rob Van Dam because of personal reasons, personal animosity that he has for Rob Van Dam. He's jealous of Rob Van Dam. You're jealous, Chris. You're jealous because you couldn't stay clean. That you got suspended. You got caught smoking that devil's lettuce. Smoking that good. Smoking that loud. And you got suspended. And then you think you can just walk right back in here and demand that you go against the number one contender, Rob Van Dam. Like everything is A-okay, like you didn't do anything, that you can just walk right back into Camp Cornette. Well, let me tell you something, son. That ain't going to happen. Because here at Camp Cornette, we pride ourselves on physical fitness. We pride ourselves in staying clean and staying straight and narrow. We pride ourselves at being the future best in the world in professional wrestling all around the world today. And if you think you can just come out here and demand matches, well, buddy, you got another thing coming. All of a sudden, Chris comes out and he goes, huh, Paul, you see, that's pretty funny. Because time and time again, you keep bringing up my past, just like you did with Eddie Guerrero. And you call people out on their past, and you call out people for their past actions. Well, what about your past actions with Dwayne Gill? And Jim Cornette's like, who? Who? And he's like, exactly. You don't even remember who he is. You took his money, just like you took my money, just like you're taking Rob's money, just like you're taking Steve, and just like you're taking Awesome's money. You're ripping people off. And they're too stupid to realize it. And I'm glad that I got suspended. And realized that my bank account was losing money. The only reason you kicked me out of Camp Cornette is because of that phone call that we had, to where I said, hey, my bank account has dropped by a couple grand, and I wanted to know if you know anything about it. And you were trying to blame it off on my ex-wife. Well, let me tell you something, Jim. It wasn't my ex-wife, it was you. Just like you stole Dwayne Gill's money, and now Dwayne Gill has to sit in jail and pay the consequences for it. And he's just like, it's not my fault, he can't pay his taxes. And Chris is just like, well, I was backstage, and I don't know about you, Rob, but I was backstage, and I ran into somebody. I ran into somebody who said they want a match here tonight in front of these diehard Philadelphia fans. And I got nothing going on, and I know that you're not booked here tonight, Rob, so I know that you're afraid to give me a one-on-one match. So why don't you and Steve team up, and we'll have ourselves a tag team match with my partner that just so happened to be here tonight. And Rob's like, who is it, man? Who is it? And Jim's like, yeah, who do you got? Who do you got? And all of a sudden, the lights go out. And I think we all know who it is. The lights go out. And then they come back in, and all we hear is a whistle blowing, and we see a man with a turban on his head as he's pointing up to the side, and the crowd just starts chanting, holy shit, as it's Sabu. And then we go on to that tag team match. It's Sabu and Bill Alfonso, as in a decent match, Chris Candido and Sabu defeat Rob Van Dam and Steve Corino, when Chris Candido pinned Steve Corino with a bombshell. In terms of in-ring work, of course, it's Rob Van Dam. And Steve Corino is the weak link, struggling to keep up with everybody else. He's just not popular. He's still a 47, but he's just not as popular as the other guys. Sabu debuted his show Stiller gimmick. It got great. Announcing color commentary gave the match a boost. RVD and Jim Cornette have pretty good chemistry together. And Chris Candido was penalized through the personal effects. And Rob Van Dam came out looking great. The match got a 79. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. They lose the match. Rob Van Dam pulls out Steve Corino as they head to the back, as Chris and Sabu celebrate. Sabu, a part of the new ECW buyout, and Sabu is here. He's here. We move on to our next segment. Yes. It is Edge and Christian, and they are backstage with Michael Cole. And Michael Cole's just like, well, tonight, Christian, Edge and Christian are kind of goofing around. And he's just like, well, Christian, tonight you go against Double J, Jeff Jarrett. How are you feeling? And he's just like, well, I'm kind of nervous, but now that I have Edge here in my corner, things are looking up. And after this match, this is probably going to be my last singles match for a while, as I would like to set my sights on. And Edge is like, whoa, buddy. Hey, man. Don't talk that way. This is not going to be your last singles match for a while, man. Come on. While I was away, healing up my shoulder, I was at home watching you, man. And you did good for yourself. You build yourself up. You became one of the top talents here in the World Wrestling Federation. I mean, you went up against guys like our hero, the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you did that before I did. I couldn't be more proud of you. Don't give up your singles career just because I'm back. And it's just like, Christian's like, well, man, I really want to win those tag team titles with you. And that's why we came here, you know, to win the tag team titles. And Ed's just like, that's true. That's true. But if you have an opportunity to become number one contender for the European title, man, take it. Win that championship, dude. I'm sure I'll win plenty of championships here in my time in the World Wrestling Federation. But in the meantime, brother, you go do you, man. We'll team up and everything like that, you know? But you do you, brother. And he's like, I'm going to be back here rooting you on, man. You go out there and you teach Double J a lesson. And Christian's like, thanks, man. I appreciate it. And we go to our main event matchup. No, it is not our main event. I'm sorry. Our co-main event. And I ruined something by saying that. But we move on to the next segment. And it is in a decent match that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Double J. He beats Christian after he hits Christian in the head with a guitar. Christian with a 72 and Jeff Jarrett with a 77. So Christian, yeah, he definitely got over with the pay-per-view matchups and stuff. Announcing color commentary got the match boost, and Double J and Deborah win. It's pretty much Deborah slides Double J the guitar, distracts the ref, you know, hits him. Double J wins. Yes. And I thought it was going to be a celebration thing, but I guess I didn't have time. But we do have time for this. We see Raven walk into Vince McMahon's office, and he's dragging the hardcore title behind him. And Vince is kind of looking at him, and he's just like, Scott? And Raven's just like, don't call me that. It's not my name. My name's Raven. He's like, I'm sorry, Raven, Vince. And Paul's standing there, and he's like, nice to see you again, Raven. How you been here in the World Wrestling Federation? And Raven just smirks, and he goes, of course. He goes, I come here because he's stealing, this man right here was stealing your ideas and your marketing gimmick, and then you just sell out to him. Of course you do, you know, of course you do. Paul's just like, oh yeah? You think I sold out, huh? And Raven's like, oh, yeah, I know you sold out, Paul. I know you did. Anyway, what do you want? Why did you call me in your office? And Vince is just like, well, now that I purchased ECW, you are now officially a World Wrestling Federation signed talent. As much as you hate it, and as much as the Big Show has gifted you that Hardcore Championship, you still have to defend that Hardcore Championship. Raven's just like, alright, I really don't want to be in that. And Vince is like, well, it says right here, since you don't have a lucrative one-of-a-kind contract, that I can now officially book you in any match that I feel like booking you in. Now that you're not just an exclusive ECW talent and wrestle when ECW lets me let you wrestle, or when you feel like wrestling, now that you have a World Wrestling Federation contract, I can book you anytime I want to. And Paul was bringing up how you were one of his top talents in ECW, how you were one of the best. And so far here in the World Wrestling Federation, you've beaten some of my top talent. You've beaten Cactus Jack. You have beaten Big Show. You've beaten Terry Funk, for all that matter. But I was talking to Paul, and I really don't want the Hardcore Championship to go anywhere. So now that you're a WWF talent, I can make you defend that title. Raven's just like, all right, who is it? Huh? Terry? Cactus? Who are you putting me in the ring against, huh? And Paul's like, oh, it's somebody that you know quite well. Somebody that you can pretty much say they're the embodiment of hardcore. They're known to be hardcore. Raven's just like, what? Who? You know, like, there ain't nobody here on the World Wrestling Federation roster that's more hardcore than me. I took the crown from Cactus Jack. I beat Terry Funk, and I took the crown from Cactus Jack. And nobody is more hardcore than I am. And Vince McMahon's like, see, that's funny, because I would actually agree with you. There was nobody on the World Wrestling Federation roster that was hardcore. But now that I have purchased ECW, and ECW talent are now WWF signed wrestlers, there is one man who I believe, and who Paul believes, will give you a good, fair match. Raven's like, whatever. I'll see you out in the ring. And he goes out there. And we cut to commercial, and we come back, and Raven's in the ring, you know. And he's sitting in the corner and everything like that. And he's laid up in the corner. And the announcer's like, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, this matchup will be for the WWF Hardcore Championship. In this corner stands Raven, you know. He says Raven's weight, where he's from, and all that stuff. And Raven just kind of sits there, and he doesn't give a shit. And he's like, and now his opponent from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And all of a sudden, Man in the Box just hits, right? And it's Tommy Dreamer. And Raven instantly just shoots up in the corner, and he's just like, what the fuck? And he goes to the referee, and he's like, no, I'm not defending my championship. I'm not defending my title. I'm tired of fighting Tommy Dreamer. And Tommy Dreamer walks out, and he has Beulah right behind him. And Tommy comes out to the ring, you know, with a trash can full of weapons. And they go into this hardcore matchup. And about that had 85, not bad. And about that had good wrestling and good heat. Tommy Dreamer defeats Raven in a hardcore match in 12:53 by pinfall. And Tommy Dreamer is now the new WWF Hardcore Champion. Raven with, oh my God, a 98 in the tri-state area. And Tommy Dreamer with a 65. Death to Hardcore storyline advances. Raven and Tommy Dreamer have pretty good chemistry, and it lifted the match. Raven benefited from having a hot new move. This match got an 85. I couldn't ask for better. Tommy Dreamer wins the WWF Hardcore Championship. And after the match, Tommy Dreamer celebrates with Beulah as he hugs. As he finally, once again, defeats Raven and saves hardcore wrestling. As hardcore wrestling continues, the Death to Hardcore storyline advances. This segment got a 100 as we finish the show. It increases our popularity in 26 reasons. A 90, not bad at all for Shotgun Saturday Night. And that does it, guys. Thank y'all for watching this episode of Shotgun Saturday Night. What we are going to do, we have some more decisions here. We have a lot of the ECW guys were signed to handshake deals, and I wanted to go ahead and pretty much like sign them exclusively. Dudley, Big Dick Dudley, Larry Tan, Sandman defeats Savio Vega, One Man Gang, all that stuff. So anybody that you see here on ECW, WWF Network, anybody that you see right here is pretty much in our developmental that doesn't have an exclusively signed contract to the World Wrestling Federation. Pretty much, if they were on a handshake deal, I went in and I gave them contracts and pretty much like, hey, you're now a talent for me. We still got a couple people we're still waiting on, as you can see. We got some decisions to make. But what I'm going to do is everybody who's signed to the ECW roster, I'm still going to have them on the ECW roster. And everybody who is a big name, who has a certain popularity, I'm going to move them to the main roster. And I'm kind of going to make it developmental and type thing. If y'all want me to go ahead and book ECW also, let me know and leave it in the comments down below. We already have the ECW 2001 save, but would y'all like me to end that and do the ECWs on this one? Or would y'all like me just to do the ECW 2001 save? I'll let that be up to y'all guys. If you are new to the channel and like what you see, the subscribe icon will be over. Hey, this is an ECW episode, so let's do a ECW logo right here. If you like this episode and want to go back and watch previous episodes, the last night results will be, that playlist will be over last night results. And if you are looking for a little bit something extreme and need help making up your decision on which we should do, that playlist is right here of the last ECW pay-per-view right here. You can go watch that. And if you like that more, let me know. And if you want to see me do the ECW save with WWF and me booking WWF and ECW together, or, you know, keeping them separate, just let me know in the comments below. My name's Dylan Villain, and like we always say here at Pro Am Gaming, if you can't play with each other, do what I do and play with yourself. See y'all on the next episode.